Cryptology Algorithms by Melinda Barron, Network Security, iTech 4421. According to Oxford Languages, the definition of cryptology is the art of writing or solving codes. But in computer science, it is described as a way that information is secured and communicated. The word cryptology is actually derived from the Greek words meaning secret writing. The techniques involve mathematical calculations called algorithms that encrypt messages that are hard to decipher. These algorithms have come a long way since they were first invented, and we heavily use cryptology today. Throughout history, cryptology has been used as a means to transmit messages secretly for war and to secure sensitive data. There have been many cryptographic machines developed over the years. The first ever cryptographic message was found in a tomb in Egypt around 1900 BC. Through the pictures and cryptographic messages in this tomb, it seems as though the person buried here oversaw priests during his reign as a prince and enjoyed hunting. During this time, most cryptographic messages were found to hide trade secrets, such as a recipe for creating clay pots, or to simply create a sense of mystery for onlookers. One of the earliest known uses for cryptographic messages was created and used for war. Around 100 BC, Julius Caesar was among the first documented to use cryptographic messaging. He would create messages that were shifted in the alphabet by 3. These messages were used to communicate with his army generals. He done this so that if his enemy spies were to intercept the messages, they would have a hard time deciphering the text. However, the encryption was easily broken by looking at letter frequencies. A popular encrypting tool created in 1899 was called the discret. This device had 2 discs on it, each with the alphabet in uppercase, lowercase, had numbers, and punctuation marks. When the messages were sent, they were also sent with the decryption key. The receiver would do the encryption in reverse to retrieve the message. This cipher machine was easy to crack looking at the letter frequency. One of the first and most popular cryptographic machines created was called the Enigma. This machine looked very much like a typewriter, but was not a computer. It only had one function. The Enigma was a rotor-based cipher machine that was used for military purposes to hide secret messages. The rotors on this machine could be swapped around to create more scrambling possibilities. Key sheets were used to decrypt the messages. It was created during World War I around 1914 and was used all the way through to the end of World War II. Eventually, the passwords were cracked by British intelligence. This machine was harder to crack than some of its earlier versions. The Sigaba cipher machine was used from the 1930s well into the 1950s. The U.S. Navy was the main consumer of this product, with over 5,000 machines deployed and used heavily on battleships. The machine looked much like a typewriter and was quite bulky. It was an electronic rotor-based cipher machine that had 5 wheels and 26 contacts each, and it worked very similar to the Enigma. To this day, the Sigaba cipher machine has not been broken. Voice cryptology machines were even a thing as far back as 1944. The way these machines worked was by scrambling the audio frequency of telephone users. The scramblers would make high pitches low and low pitches high. This technology resulted in speech that was not able to be understood. Devices such as the frequency changer 6AC-3 were not very reliable and were only used for the everyday eavesdropper, such as an exchange operator or a telephone engineer who may have been working on the lines. The Sig Sally was one of the first reliable voice cryptographic machines to be used. This device was used during World War II, and an entire platoon had to be specially trained to use the device. The device was so complicated that it weighed near 55 tons. The Sig Sally had a high resource consumption rate. The machines were operated for 8 hours a day, while the maintenance on the machines lasted for the remaining 16 hours of the day. There were several vacuum tubes that required constant maintenance. Along with this maintenance were power supply maintenance and 96 stepper circuits that also needed adjustments daily. This made the machines very costly to run. The Bill papers were left behind by Thomas Bill, who landed at Lynchburg, Virginia in 1820. They were left behind with the hotel owner where he stayed and supposedly contained information about buried treasure. The cipher of the papers was never retrieved, and only a portion of the papers have been decoded. Part of the cipher includes numbers that correspond to a word in the Declaration of Independence. The Zodiac Killer was a serial killer from Northern California. He was famous back in the 1960s, and his case has been known as the most famous unsolved murder case in American history. He was well known for sending letters and cards into the news outlets to be printed. If his letters and cards and messages were not printed in the newspapers on the front page, then he would threaten to go on more killing sprees. The Zodiac Killer would start his letters out by writing, "This is the Zodiac speaking." He claimed to have killed 37 people and to be collecting their souls as slaves in the afterlife. He thought that when he killed people, they would meet him in heaven to be his loyal servants. Out of the 408 letters and cards that he sent in to be printed that were encrypted, only 18 of them were ever decrypted. To this day, the Zodiac Killer has never been caught, and some people believe he is still alive out there killing people. The Kryptos is a sculpture that was created and erected in November of 1990 by an American artist named Jim Sandburn. This sculpture has 1,800 cut-out letters, and it is located at the CIA headquarters in Virginia. There are 4 messages in this sculpture, and only 3 of the 4 messages have ever been decrypted. Apparently, once the 4th message has been deciphered, there is then another riddle within the 4 messages. To this day, the 4th message has not been decrypted. It is one of the most famous unsolved cryptographic messages in the world. The artist that created the sculptures, Jim Sandburn, has stated that if the messages are not fully ciphered before his death, he will leave the knowledge behind and will auction off the deciphered text after his death. Electromechanical crypto devices started showing up as early as the 20th century. These automated ciphers were usually decrypted by hand through trial and error. Computer-based encryption methods were first adopted by banks to protect electronic bank transactions and clients. Computer-based encryption was first developed by the U.S. government and IBM in the 1970s. Cryptocurrency was invented so that people had a way to make investments that were anonymous, couldn't be taxed nor confiscated. Cryptocurrency emerged in January of 2009, and today there is over 9,000 different types of cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency was invented to replace the traceable dollar and is a form of digital currency. Bitcoins is the most popular form of cryptocurrency used today. Blockchain technology is used to validate all of the transactions needed to get the paper dollar transformed into this digital currency. Bitcoins have value because they can't be duplicated, cloned, nor fabricated. There is a limited supply of Bitcoin of just 21 million coins. Some people have made close to $50,000 off of investing just $1,000 in Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency will play an important role in commerce over the next 20 years or so. It's very inexpensive to get involved with cryptocurrency such as Bitcoin, and it may prove to be a wise investment so long as you do your research. The biggest problem with the future of cryptology is the development of quantum technology. There is a big chance that quantum computing computers will be able to crack even the best cryptology methods. Cloud computing may be the biggest to be compromised in this case. Cryptology is an art, and therefore there are many bad guys out there who will be trying to perfect the art of decryption in efforts to win this little rat race. Today, technology is used to encrypt many things such as Wi-Fi, applications, networks, websites, VPNs, and the list goes on. Information and accounts are kept safe using multiple tools such as cryptology and multi-factor authentication. There's also biometric authentication available as well. Multi-factor authentication, which uses something you have, something you are, and something you know, verifies who you are as a person as you are trying to log into or gain access to something like an account or a document. This concludes my presentation today. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.